Hello, and welcome back to the House of the Stag YouTube channel. We're gonna be a little edgy today. Shout out to one of my favorite YouTubers, Sani, for the idea. You've seen the title, so let's get right into it. I don't care who sits on the Iron Throne in the end, and I'm not trying to be different here. I genuinely just don't give a damn. It's not what makes this series so good to me. I know I keep repeating myself on this channel, but for me it really is all about the human heart in conflict with itself. Even though this story is set in a fictional world where dragons roam free and the undead are about to attack, these characters feel very real and act very natural, and that's what fascinates me about them and the series. I much rather read about a struggling character trying to make his own little corner of the world a better place than reading about some ambitious conquest. Let's take my favorite character Stannis for example. I became a die-hard Stanner man once his character actually started developing. Sure, Stannis talks about duty all the time, but he only just started to act on those words, and now he may take part in the attempt to save humanity. He'll never sit on that damn thing, and that's perfectly fine. For the sake of the quality of our story, I don't even want him to. Benjen is Cold Hands. Mance is Rhaegar. Euron is secretly Dario. Bran is the Night King. Tywin is the Dusky Woman. I hate those Furies. Just stop. I gotta be honest, when I started being more involved in this fandom, those Furies sounded pretty cool. At least the good ones. It was fascinating to see all of these very well written Furies, but that's what about 98% of them are. Good reads. There was nothing more annoying than spending a couple of hours working on an Instagram post for my old fan page, and suddenly, leading up to season 8, all of the comments underneath my posts were Bran is the Night King, Bran Night King, Bran Night King, Night King. It sucked so bad. I don't care about dragons. I mean, they're absolutely beautiful to look at in the TV adaptation, and I imagine it'll be even cooler once we get to see Sunfire or even Balerion the Dread in House of the Dragon. But it's a bit like a cheat code. It's a last-minute inclusion by George R. R. Martin too, which just underlines where the true weight of the story lies. It's not that deep, basically George R. R. Martin's fantasy version of nuclear weapons. Like, cool, game over then. I hope we never get to see or even hear from Sandor Clegane again. Him living his days out in peace, digging his graves after a life full of hate and pain is as peaceful as it gets in our story, and I really like that for him. It's refreshing. The Cleganebowl was one of the few things I enjoyed about season 8 of Game of Thrones, but I absolutely prefer Gravedigger Sandor. We have other interesting revenge plots in the Song of Ice and Fire. I can definitely do without this one. Sansa Stark is one of George R. R. Martin's best written characters. I sometimes read the most absurd, horrendous takes when it comes to her character. Like with so many characters, people tend to forget that, yeah, that's a child. Like, she's supposed to act like a child. Which, cool, everyone is entitled to their own opinion, and I have mine. Man, did this poor girl suffer, given that she only just started to play the Game of Thrones a little bit. The sky is the limit for her development as a character. I really enjoy Elaine Stone so far. I want her to keep learning from Littlefinger before actually outplaying him without the help of anyone. Arya Stark became one of the worst characters in Game of Thrones. Hey, come on, how much plot armor can you have? Hey, calm down everyone, come on. Okay, let me try to explain it. It's not even Maisie's fault. She's a great actress. Arya just became something that just doesn't even fit into the world of Ice and Fire to begin with. A ninja-like, plot-armored, overpowered assassin who delivers corny line after corny line.
I know a killer when I see one.
You must have a goddamn IQ of 160!
Season 5 must have been the last time she actually had natural, human dialogue. She basically became a YouTube highlight reel merchant. It's a real shame because I really enjoyed her character up until season 5. It's just the glorification of violence and murder that is completely misplaced in the world George created. Now, you might say, Ricky, this is exactly the point. Arya is a traumatized young girl and all she ever knew was violence and murder. Okay, I hear you, but then why glorify it? Why am I supposed to cry tears of joy and yell at my television when a little girl massacres a man in the most gruesome fashion possible? Why put a badass theme tune over each and every one of her killing sprees? Why not explore this trauma through actual, interesting dialogue with other traumatized people like Sandor? Why not? Whatever, it's wasted potential, and don't even get me started about that whole Bravos chase scene. Let's move on. Season 8, Episode 2 is the best Game of Thrones episode since Season 4, and before you explode in the comments, hear me out. I know, nothing about this episode really matters all that much if you look at the bigger picture, which of course results in a lot of wasted screen time, but I just love the focus on dialogue and characters in that episode. I just said pretty much the same thing about Arya, but it's been ages since our characters actually had real human dialogue, so I loved all of these little exchanges between the characters we spent multiple years theorizing and talking about. I loved Brienne getting knighted by Jaime. I loved Theon's return to Winterfell and that little moment he shared with Sansa. And I had Jenny of Oldstones on repeat all throughout the following weeks. That montage of people coming together before facing literal death paired with Podrick singing was so powerful, and I will always like it. Last but not least, there's a big chance that House of the Dragon will be better than Game of Thrones. That's obviously just me making assumptions, but I did some research on the people behind the desk, and the fact that George, who usually never talks about Thrones, can't do 3 blog posts without mentioning how much he loves this new show and how accurately it captures the theme of his world, I'd say it's getting more and more likely. Ryan Condal and the whole new big writing team are more factors, but I'll get into more detail and talk about specifics once that trailer drops. That's pretty much all I have for today. Keep in mind that this stuff is subjective. We can disagree and still be friends. Let me know if you would want a part 2. Leave a like, take care, and see us later.